Welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops. We want to thank our sponsors here at the Bob Stoops app, including Sustainable Solutions, maximizing energy efficiency and air purity. Rock and Roll Tequila. I don't drink, but the bottles are awesome. I mean, that is a cool look. And of course, BFAC.com. Does your business need a mobile app? Go with Oklahoma's #1 mobile app developer, BFAC.com. All right, Coach. This is a big subject here in Norman, Oklahoma. Cale Gundy, a proud football player at OU, became a national championship coach at OU, 14 conference championships at OU, and we were all shocked by his resignation Sunday night.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate, really sad, and us who know him so well, and Christy, his whole family, it just tears you apart. That this has transpired, and this is how, it's all. Falling out, I guess, is the way it is. And, Cale has done so much for this. He's blood, sweat, and tears. I've worked with him now for 23 years, and then all his time playing here. He's a Sooner through and through, and should remain a Sooner through and through. Everybody should always be appreciative of his hard work here and embrace him for that. And because he loves this place, and we, as you could tell, the people here love him. But in the end, this situation that he's a part of, was really handled in a poor way. And I think everyone knows in life, in certain circumstances, you have bad, some bad awareness or judgment in whatever job you're in, and it can have severe consequences if it's not handled right. And unfortunately, this, was in Cale in a moment of poor judgment or whatever it may be, or awareness, he created, the situation and the consequences. And it's sad, hate it. But again, even though it happened, that doesn't change his heart and the character that he has. He loves OU. He loves his players as much as any coach I've ever been next to. So he cares about them, and again, should always be, had a moment, a bad, piece of time there, but that doesn't take away all the positives that he's done, and everybody should always embrace him for that. And but it's just unfortunate that, and Coach Venables now feels he can't go forward the right way. He's building a certain identity for this team, a certain culture that he wants and the way it's going to be. And accountability throughout the team. I've heard him say it 100 times. And at the end of the day, if he feels in his mind and his judgment that moving forward, this is the way it needs to be, then we've got to trust him. He's the one. He also has close relationship with Cale. It can't be easy. That's painful to make those kind of decisions. But he's charged with moving this program forward, and if he believes that this is the best way to do it, you have to trust him for it. And and Brent, even though I said this the other day, he's a first-year coach. That guy's had over 25 plus years with 3 Hall of Fame coaches, with Coach Snyder, myself, and Dabo Sweeney. So he knows what the culture he wants and what great programs look like. And so again, you've got to trust him with what he feels is the best way to move forward with it. And I think it's important to say too, young people are young people. Players, that young man, whoever it was, and I don't want to know, but players are gonna fall asleep or not pay attention in meetings. It happens all the time. He won't be the first, and he sure as hell won't be the last to not be paying attention in a meeting, or unfortunately writing or saying horrific words. It happens in locker rooms. It has to be addressed, and as coaches and leaders, we have to address it and help them improve in a positive way.
But there's a different expectation for kids than there are for the coaches.
Absolutely. That's the why we're in the room, to be the leaders, to be the coach and the leader, to teach them a new way, a better way. And that's what we're charged to do as coaches.
When did you first hear about this meeting and what happened in this meeting?
Saturday morning, I believe it was. So I heard about it in the morning, and but I did not hear the entire story. I just had heard of of a possible incident, but I didn't know much about it until later in the day.
Did anybody consult you?
No.
No.
I'm not. That's not my position. We have great leadership at the university with our president and athletic director, Joe Castiglione, Joe Harris. Brent has great understanding of what he wants with this program. And again, he's got a great background. He was around me for 13 years. He doesn't need to consult me, So in the end, this is his program moving forward, and again, he's to be trusted with it.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to either Coach Venables or Cale after this?
Of course. I've talked to both of them, and I've spent time. I went over as soon as I got back from a trip I was on. That same day, I went over and sat with Cale for a long time and talked. And again, just he's owned up to what he feels, what he's done, and wants to move forward, and feels horrible about it. And understands, again, all our actions, there's always a consequence to it.
Do you feel like the outcome was the right outcome in him resigning?
That isn't for me to say. I'm not going to get between. I've said it. I think all parties here need a degree of understanding. There isn't a right way or a wrong way. It's impossible, and no one. They're never going to get 100% on one side or the other. It's just not going to happen. And you're not doing it justice if you don't look at everybody's different side of it. Whatever each person, whether it be, I understand Coach Gundy and all his accomplishments here and all his dedication here. Again, that's to be embraced, and that doesn't go away, and it should be remembered, and all. But you can't erase also what the incident was, and you got to look at what then Coach Venables is charged to do to move forward, walking in a building with 140 other men and women, but mostly coaches and players that he has to address and talk about the culture he wants, and it's up to him to keep building that. So again, you're not being fair if you're not looking at everybody's angle.
And let's talk about making that big decision and having to have difficult conversations. When you were head football coach at the University of Oklahoma, you had to deal with things like this. You had to deal with a prime quarterback that had just won a bowl game, who was an MVP of a bowl game, who was on the cover of national magazines, and you're getting ready for media day. And a lot of people had a lot of expectations for Rhett Bomar and that OU team. Those are tough decisions that you have to make.
And they're all different. There's never one decision's the same. What's the intention? And that's the other thing with this whole situation. No one else was in that meeting room or in that building. They're the ones that know. Everyone else outside thinks they know. They don't. And so you have to trust that he knows, maybe a little more about it overall than everyone else does. So, and then, but anyhow, so, those decisions are really difficult. They're gut-wrenching. And you have to try and look at all angles from it. You don't ever enter into any of these decisions lightly. And, you consult with, some of your leadership, but ultimately it's your decision as a head coach. And, and they're tough. I mean, they take years off your life. There's no doubt about it, because you don't enter into those decisions lightly at all. And you can anticipate what the ramifications are on what you're gonna decide.
And you've talked about the success of Coach Gundy had at OU, the success as a player. He's obviously beloved by many alums and former players. Where do you see Cale Gundy going from here?
I don't know. Cale's a very bright, accomplished guy. He can do a lot of things. I don't believe this would keep him from coaching at another school and having another opportunity if he wants to leave Oklahoma. If he doesn't, again, with his character and all his accomplishments here and popularity here, he certainly would be great for any business or any other job that locally that anybody had or an opportunity for. So I believe he'll be fine moving forward again, because this doesn't take away all the good, not by any means. And so hopefully some positive things will come his way.
Is there any potential of him joining a Bob Stoops staff in the XFL?
I don't right now. I've already hired my staff, so I don't know. But and I don't know that that's something Cale would want to do. So, if something changes with me, I'd coach with Cale in a heartbeat if I had something that was that was possible.
All right. How does a position coach impact a team moving forward? I mean, Cale Gundy was not the offensive coordinator, but obviously he was well known by all the players, all of the coaches. Now there's a new guy coming in that was on the support staff. How does that affect a team in the day-to-day and also moving forward into the season?
Well, I think it affects you for a certain amount of time, and I'm sure they've addressed that in their team meetings and all the discussions and all the and then you deal with it in the manner that you feel you need to. It's addressed, and this is how we're going to move forward. You lay out the path for them, and young people are resilient. They'll move forward, and you have to. In life, a lot of tough things that can come your way, and you got to put your head down and keep moving forward.
And it's a unique situation today in 2022 because college football programs, the major powerhouses like Oklahoma, have a number of coaches that aren't listed in your program that are supporting the team behind the scenes. So they have people, if you will, on the bench that can come in that have great experience.
Absolutely, and especially now Brent, and he's had the opportunity to hire more people that have experience and they're in the background that are assisting these assistant coaches in their offices and doing work for them. Anyway, so there's a lot of hands on deck and a lot of really accomplished coaches in that room.
What is your message directly for Sooner Nation when it comes to this Gundy story?
Well, again, it is gut wrenching. No more, not more to anyone else than me. I'll promise you. So, but in the end, the best way to move forward for everybody is to have a degree again of understanding, but also understand every side of it and support all the sides. And all the parties involved need supported and need understood where they're coming from, and then got to let it go and move forward. And because the old phrase, it is what it is, that's where it's at today.
I thought you said it best the other day. It's okay to love and respect Cale Gundy and be thankful for everything he did.
Absolutely.
But support Brent Venables and this team moving forward in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, we said that earlier. I can't say it enough. Cale deserves to be embraced by the OU community, and that should never go away. But also, Brent is charged with dealing with an incident that he has to move past, and that needs to be understood as well. And they all need supported, and the young man needs to be supported that was in the room. That as well. Young people he's not the first or last that are going to have a problem that aren't going to be paying attention or, spewing a bad word here and there. That's going to happen. You don't want it to, and it's our job as coaches to help improve them in that kind of behavior.
All right, we're going to shift gears, change the subject, going from college football to the NFL and some former Sooners. Kyler Murray, former player of yours, can afford to pick up dinner now. I guess he could always afford to pick up dinner, but now he's got a few extra dollars in his pocket with his new deal.
Yeah, good for him. Good for he and his family. Just a great individual. What a person. And, really gotten to know his parents very well. Just wonderful people. So it's awesome to see one of your players get those great paydays. Because that this is now it's life-changing money. Everyone thinks, the first contract's life-changing money. No. Not really. Not when you start paying taxes. So now you get when you get into that second contract, now you're talking about life-changing money, and I'm just happy for him, proud of him, and he always represents OU in a great way.
And I think what's so much fun as a fan watching Kyler Murray play football is that at any moment something special can happen on the field because of his amazing talent.
When Baker was suspended, the one game, I forget who we were playing, and
West Virginia.
Yes, so I'm up in my suite, and next to me was one of our great boosters, who's a great friend of mine, and he asked me, well, what can I expect, with Kyler being out there? This is ahead of the game. So I said, let me tell you something. hold on. I said, don't miss. Don't be caught in the restroom because he's exciting. First play, what'd he go? 60, 70 yards.
I think it was
to
like
the
90 yards.
To the 2-yard line. So he came to me and he says, you were right. I go, I told you. I go, he's special. So anyway, it's neat. It's fun to watch him. Well, and I got a fun story about Kyler when he approached us about transferring to Oklahoma. So we're in the meeting room watching Kyler play the whatever film we had of him, but we're also watching a couple of other guys that had interest in transferring to OU. So we're all in the meetings, and they're all good players. They're all going to help us. I believe all three of them end up in the NFL. And it's probably not fair to talk about the others that didn't come. So we're watching, and Kyler just jumps off the tape. But you also, you wonder about his size. Can he hold up? And so anyway, I always trust my quarterback coaches and my other coaches. What's your opinion? Everyone talked about him. And Lincoln's last comment was, about all of them are good, all of them can help us. But the one thing about Kyler, if he comes to OU, he can win a Heisman Trophy. And so he had some intuition that if he comes here, this is the kind of guy that can win a Heisman Trophy, and he sure enough did.
All right, transitioning from one OU Heisman Trophy winning quarterback to another, Baker Mayfield battling Sam Darnold for the starting job in Carolina. The NFL Network reporting, though, Baker's got a leg up, likely to be named the starting quarterback. This is amazing. When you think about Baker, he had to deal with a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. Now he's had to learn an entire new offense in 3 weeks and go up against a guy also picked in the top 3 picks in the NFL draft when he was drafted.
Yeah, it's no surprise Baker's, finding his way to the top. Not for me. People always want to breeze over all the head coaches with the Browns, all the O coordinators, all of their dysfunction through the years and through his time there. And everyone just washes that away and wants to just talk about his record. And everyone forgets that he's the only quarterback in the last 2 decades to win a playoff game. Just 2 years ago, I believe it was. Yes. A year ago, he's fighting injuries. So, this isn't a surprise to me at all. I believe Baker's gonna have great success. Believe in him in a great way as just a very accomplished quarterback. You're talking about just learning a new system. He's a brilliant person. He's one of those people that you tell him at once, he has it. And he could spit it back to you a week later. And, so it's no surprise he's picked it up so well. He's been used to picking up new offenses for the Browns every year. So anyway, he's a bright guy, he's a talented guy, and I can't wait to watch him.
And when you think about his former teammates, they're not going to wear his jersey this year out of respect for him. So the number 6 will not be worn by Cleveland Browns this year. And when you get Myles Garrett saying he's a winner and Nick Chubb saying he's a competitor, this is a lot of respect for their former teammate.
Listen, he puts it all in to the team, and you can't fool players. Mm-hmm. The locker room knows who's who. And so when you get guys like that speaking up for you, they know just what you said. He's a competitor. He's as tough as they come. He'll do anything to win. Just like he played injured. And a lot of guys wouldn't have played. And he's like, if I'm the best guy and the best option available, I'll go out there and play to help these guys win. And they know that. And again, you never fool players or you never fool a locker room.
And we can't gloss over this. Baker Mayfield was hurt last year. The last time he played a full season healthy, he finished in the top 3 in QBR in the entire league.
Absolutely, and that's a big part of it. Protecting them and the situations you put him in. And he went out there, and fought last year being injured, but still tried to win for him. But the year before, he's got their first playoff win in 20 years or 20-some years. So, he's a winner.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my Carolina Baker Mayfield jersey. Coach, thank you so much. And don't forget, for videos anytime, just tap on our video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.